Can you hear me? The back? Antaryasha bahir viduta timiram jyotirmayam shashvatam sthanam prapya virajate vinamatam ajnanam unmulayan pashyan vishmamapita mullasati yo vishvasya pare paraha tasmai shri ramanaya lokagurave shokasya hantre namaha. Tuppari villa ippira penpayan oppidavayen Arunachala. Good morning, dear sisters, brothers, and children in Sri Bhagavan. It's always a great feeling to be with a sincere group like yours. And today we are celebrating the 73rd Aradhana of Sri Bhagavan by having this special satsang. On April 18th, in the ashram, the Aradhana was celebrated with traditional pomp, starting with Nadaswara at 4:45 in the morning, followed by special pujas at the shrine. Special Tamil Parayana in the morning, followed by puja and singing at the shrine. And several thousand people were treated to sumptuous prasadam of Sri Bhagavan. Friends, today I'd like to just refresh our thinking. Why celebrate Aradhana at all? And the second thing I'd like to pose is, what's the need for satsangs? And I'll also reflect on some of the daily, what I call milder challenges that I face in the ashram, like the need for an additional living guru and how to go about controlling the noise, the growth of ashram, of the devotees. And then the need for new publications and not coming from various sources fast and furious. All this is because of the need that I feel that the growth will go on organically, but my duty is to preserve the authenticity and the divineness of the ashram, not changing it one bit. So that's why we reflect on these questions. Personally, Akshara, Nitya, and me, we are having the time of our lives since moving back. On a daily basis, it's a privilege to meet devotees from various parts of the world, including many from the Bay Area. It's also a privilege and fascinating experience to meet new devotees coming from everywhere. And the stories of how Bhagavan entered their lives just brings goosebumps. And such meetings bring new vibrancy to our lives. If one is looking for a purpose in life, it is given to you constantly and from an unexpected sources while in the ashram. I'd like to just mention a few examples. Before I left for United States, a young gentleman from Turkey just landed in the ashram. He discovered Bhagavan a month before, he read books, and just caught the plane to come to Arunachala. Just landed with no planning. And he says, Bhagavan will take care of us. So it's such a, such examples happen every day. The other one was to meet, to meet people from countries you never expect will be in the ashram. Two young women from Azerbaijan, totally into Bhagavan and, practicing the teachings, So that really, just kind of wakes you up to the living presence of Bhagavan. And lastly, was very interesting. And one morning, I met back-to-back devotees, a group of Israeli friends, then friends from Iran, and then from Lebanon. And then, which you'll never traditionally meet. And then you go into the shrine, and they're all sitting close by, meditating under the watchful eyes of Bhagavan. Where else can this happen but in Ramanashramam? So this is just, I can go on the whole day just talking about such things, but I thought I'll just bring this up, So this is both the fun aspect of it, but also it brings about the need why we need to preserve the authenticity, the living presence of Bhagavan, so that such daily incidents keep happening. Let's start by addressing the first question. What is Aradhana? Aradhana means worship in Hindu parlance. It denotes the yearly worship offered to a saint on the day of the shedding of their mortal coil. Friends, is it just enough to pay our respects to our Guru, worship him on this day, crave for his blessings? Is this the only significance? Is Aradhana limited to just one single day every year? And do such celebrations carry a deeper significance for us, the devotees of Bhagavan, who are all mumukshus in various degrees of annihilation of the body consciousness, the ego-related problems? We'll start first by examining what does birth or death mean to a jnani. Bhagavan asks, who is born? Is it only it is only he who asks, whence am I born? That is truly born in Brahman, the prime source. Quoting Ulladanarpada Anubandham, verse 11, quote, he indeed is born eternally. He is the Lord of saints. He is the ever now. It therefore follows that our true birth is our spiritual birth. Once we commence our journey towards the Atman, the eternal being. The birth of the body is not our true birth. Extending this logic, the death of the body cannot be construed as true death. The death experience of Sri Bhagavan resulted in the death of I am the body idea. The limited self died, and therein was born the true self, the supreme sage Ramana. A Gandhian, Acharya Vinoba Bhave, paid the most fitting tribute to Bhagavan on the occasion of his Mahanirvana. Quote, he said, Sri Ramana Maharshi did not give up his body now. He gave up his body when he was 16. Vinoba Bhave put the incident in proper perspective, emphasizing the truth that Sri Bhagavan's presence transcended his physical frame. His physical death was just the disappearance of his body. The Supreme Self remains untouched, as powerful as ever. This is why Bhagavan counseled his grieving devotees, testifying to his timeless presence when he said, where can I go? I'm always here. And understanding of the true significance of Bhagavan's Mahanirvana will result in the observance of Aradhana becoming a day of great significance for all of us on our spiritual paths. Only upon the death of the I am the body idea does our true birth commence. It is when the birth of knowledge, Atma Vidya, occurs. It is when the journey of the establishment of the true being in the spiritual heart, Hridayam, commences. Friends, birth and death are only two sides of the same coin. The boy Venkatraman had to die at 16 for the supreme sage Ramana, Bhagavan Ramana, to be born. Therefore, I pose a question to you. Are we all prepared to give up our egos, let it die, so that the true I will take birth? And it is not that the true I did not exist before. It always exists. It always is. But we who are occupied with our little selves are hardly aware of its presence. It is only upon the death of the ego or giving up the I am the body idea that we truly become aware of it. Therefore, the Aradhana of the Sadguru becomes an instrument of inner transformation if on this day we renew our pledge to pursue the truth of our Guru's teachings with a dedicated passion. On this day, when we are celebrating Bhagavan's Aradhana, let us resolve to rededicate ourselves to die to our ego and to be born anew in the eternal self. Our observance of Sri Bhagavan's Aradhana will be truly relevant and most useful then. Sorry, my water again. Thank you. I'll just, sorry, the heat. Coming to the second question. Why are we spending this beautiful day in this room? Well, it could be trekking or somewhere and having a satsang. What does it signify? And what does it do for all of us on our spiritual journeys? Satsang is with the good and wise. Satsang derives its meaning from the etymological meaning of the word Upanishad, to sit closely or near. These are teachings given by sages to their disciples who were sitting steadfastly near their teachers. Bhagavan gave a deeper meaning to that, and when he said this could also be construed to be interpreted as steadfastly sitting close to the self, to the inner self. Bhagavan said that the real being is the self, and therefore no physical form of the Guru is needed for satsangs. The flow of power from the Guru can be received by anyone whose attention is focused on the self. Distance is no impediment to its efficacy. So, satsangs truly mean association with the being. Bhagavan's direct experiential teaching involves no preachers to act as intermediaries between the teaching and the seeker. The triputi of the teaching, the teacher, and the taught truly merges into one, the observer, in Bhagavan's teachings. This, of course, is experienced by all of us every week in case of the Bay Area, or every 2 weeks in other areas. And we all benefit extremely from this experience of being along with each other and experiencing the inner joy of the self. Friends, on this note, I like to know, even in Ashram, I like to encourage when devotees come to continue their experience, further their experience from visit to the ashram by having satsangs wherever they go. And I'm glad to say many satsangs are formed as we speak. And I can, to just mention, there's new centers in South Africa, new one in Finland, several small ones in small towns in Andhra Pradesh and in Tamil Nadu. And I was able to visit one of them in a town called Amba Samudram in southern Tamil Nadu, where it was very gratifying to see people from all strata of society to assemble under one group and enjoy the blissful experience of Bhagavan's teachings. And it is very gratifying to see how they experience Bhagavan's grace through their own life experiences and how they bring a different flavor to a group of such gatherings. And I would also like to mention this year is celebrating the centenary of the ashram, and on September 1, a group of the Australian group from Melbourne is going to come as a group, and they're going to reenact Bhagavan's journey from Madurai to Arunachala as a group. So each one of them brings their own flavor, and then there is a small center in Andhra Pradesh, and they showed me how they all cook foods in various places and feed 400 meals to hospitals and etc. So each one, worships, celebrates their own way, and it's always very gratifying to welcome satsang groups. In this winter, I was able to interact with several groups from Italy, England, Spain, Japan, Hong Kong, Brazil, and Peru. They're basically from all over. The other ways of surprisingly and logically, IIT, the Premier Institute of Technology in Delhi, they are having a course, an evening course on Bhagavan, and it's one of the highly rated and actually they're full, they come. So they have a course the who am I message in a very sincere way. Um, from Auroville in Pondicherry, they have been interacting with us to have monthly lectures on Bhagavan, and they are interested in who am I. And so it's amazing to see the soft power of Bhagavan, pervading all over the world without us even trying to proselytize his teachings. And that's really very heartwarming for me. The To answer now the nitty-gritty of the job, um, we always keep getting people asking for the is there a living guru close by, or the who can interpret Bhagavan's teachings in the ashram. Then our answer is the ashram is where the living presence of Bhagavan continues to increase every day. Even in his time, his grace had no boundaries, no limitations. To quote an example, a devotee of Bhagavan once found himself in a life-threatening situation. He didn't for help, and surely Bhagavan came to his rescue. On his next visit to the ashram, the devotee thanked Sri Bhagavan for coming to his rescue. Bhagavan replied, quote, "The Guru need not know the one universal consciousness takes a particular form that the devotee calls out for, and nothing here is written." This is Bhagavan who never could call this as automatic divine intervention. Friends, we are all here today because Bhagavan has chosen us to be his devotees and not the other way around. The power which attracts us is not ours to decide. Bhagavan is the fire of knowledge, and all who come to him with a genuine desire for enlightenment will be burnt clear of their predispositions, vanities, and ignorance. The minor challenge of the ashram is the proliferation of would-be gurus and self-appointed pandits who want to interpret his teachings. The ever-increasing popularity of Bhagavan's teachings has brought about this phenomenon, some of them implying that following them could even result in them giving the devotees liberation. Their disciples of these teachers emphasize the living guru concept advantage of their gurus. The peaceful inner journey, the sadhana of Atma Vichara, practiced in quietude by devotees and encouraged by the ashram administration, is interpreted as inactivity or acts of inertia by some. Most teachers mean well. Let me be very clear. They mean well. And for them, Bhagavan is everything. But we at Ashram have the supreme responsibility of protecting the interests of the devotees who come there. Now, this is not a new phenomenon. This happened even during Bhagavan's time. In the late 1940s, there was a Kannada devotee simply known as Bhatt, and who lived in Palakot. He was sure that Bhagavan had given him jnana. He then proceeded to the town to buy kitchen utensils in the expectation of crowds flocking to him as a master. Soon he realized that his newfound jnana was short-lived, and he was just another sadhaka who had become diluted with his own supposed greatness. So, as I mentioned, I do recognize, being the president, that keeping devotees alert to such sideshows that proliferate around the ashram in the world is a paramount duty of mine. We have Dr. Carlos, a psychiatrist, in our midst, and he would relate to this condition in psychiatry. This messiah-like illusion is akin to the Jerusalem syndrome, Dr. Carlos, which have quite a few visiting other holy land. In Jerusalem, there is a special psychiatric ward for such unfortunate would-be teachers, delusional about their importance and spiritual knowledge. And they start saying, I'm the new Messiah, and unfortunately, they end up getting hospitalized. Our answer to genuine seekers, that is in the ashram, there is the ever-present, constant living presence of Bhagavan. Bhagavan warned even during his lifetime, especially as he was getting old, to the devotees against attaching importance to his own body, saying that it will disappear one day from the earth. Similarly, I pose to you, these living gurus of today will also meet the same fate. Then what happens to such devotees who keep looking for living gurus? What do they hope to gain from association? Instant liberation? Friends, by walking away from the living presence of Bhagavan, I'm afraid we will lose that one shot at moksha. That one shot and that one proven method of liberation. And also, by that, we also lose a part of aspirational process. For we all want to live for eternity even after we are bodiless. So by that, we have to follow the true path and stick with what works and for what happens to us for eternity. In question 20 of Who Am I?, Bhagavan clearly states, quote, God and the Guru will only show you the way to liberation. They will not by themselves take the soul to the state of liberation, end of quote. My second rejoinder to that is when Bhagavan was asked about the one quality that devotees or any seeker should seek when looking for a guru. He said, choose one in whose presence you get supreme, everlasting peace. Everlasting peace. Friends, the abode of the incarnation of Lord Dakshinamurti is a temple of silent peace, a dense, much powerful one, not just the absence of noise. Again, I like to keep boring you with examples. In the ashram, Carlos ji, when people would notice, there are many Jain sadhus we see periodically, and they are sent to, they get theoretical uh, teaching from their thing, but to practice meditation and silence, they come to Ramanashramam. They come from North India, Western India, and one of them told me that in many places it takes him several minutes to even establish his mind in the source and to get silent. And in Ramanashram, one can sit anywhere and amidst noise, amidst crowd, and immediately you go into that silent state. Similarly, when devotees teachers have continued the lineage or parampara of Bhagavan, it's a nice thought, but actually it reveals an ignorance of who Bhagavan was in history and who he continues to be now. Bhagavan is eternally present in the ashram, as he categorically told us, where can I go? So, where is the necessity to pass on the lineage? If he had felt the need, he would have done it during his lifetime. And the proof of his living presence is the increasing number of genuine seekers flocking to the ashram to practice his teachings, his living presence every day. As the poet Saint Muruganar had prophesied, it may not happen during my lifetime, but the ashram will be 100 times bigger one day. Another challenge, friends, is the literature that grows around Bhagavan. Some of them are biographies of him and his disciples, and with exaggerations and many facts that cannot be verified. There are also books written, supposedly, which are new. They were discovered suddenly in somebody's basement, wherein is giving long-winded explanations of the succinct pearls of jnana given by him in the traditional books published by Ashram. Categorically reject such books. So everything published in the Ashram goes through a source of sincere devotion, verify every source before bringing it out. And again, Carlos, I feel which is still being edited as we speak, because he submitted the manuscript several weeks ago. But we want to make sure that everything that comes out from the ashram is absolutely verified by more than one person. So my humble request to everyone here is to stick to these genuine books, already most of which were read by Bhagavan, and avoid being sidetracked on your spiritual journey. The happy topic, the centenary celebration of the ashram continues, even though technically you could say it's over, but as one of our devotee in the ashram, KVS, said, why restrict it to a year? It could be a millennium we can celebrate Bhagavan. So, and one of the core values we established was not just to celebrate it for the sake of it with song, pomp, and dance, but to do something substantial that will continue to benefit the devotees and uh, add to the value of the ashram. Now, needless to say, some celebrations like this satsang center, satsangs are celebrated in several towns in many parts of the world and in India. Um, to come to North America, the Veena player and the genius Ramana Balachandar, I think when he's coming to New York and he's performing in some places and even in the Bay Area. Arunachala Ashram plans to have a special function on September 30 with Swami Sarvapriyananda talking about Bhagavan. So that will be one thing. We are going to use this opportunity to bring several books which were written on Bhagavan, and basically translations of the talks, letters, Maharshi's Gospel, day and day in all world languages. So we are digitizing all the books and make sure no book of Bhagavan, at least the 10 to 12 core books, never ever goes out of print. And of course, having new satsang centers getting formed is another gentle thing, and I hope to attend any new ones, especially in India, if I can. Now, ESG, I can't escape that. And, there's a new pond being constructed in Tirunamala inside the ashram to conserve water. We'll also try to columns, the water ponds all around the hill, so that the water, which is a scarce source in Tirunamala, will cease to be one. The new rooms are being built in the ashram, and so that next time them are family rooms are nearing completion, and another 18 of them will be constructed soon. Good, decent staff quarters are being constructed for people who serve us silently every day. The digital efforts like these continue. And lastly, AI quality search is being attempted on Bhagwan's books of the ashram, the Call Divine magazine, and Mountain Path. So, friends, in conclusion, the ashram is a living organism. It's not a static machine. One with a sense of sensitivity will sense the difference in the air. It is as if when one enters the ashram, one enters another realm where there is perfect order without rules. The ashram has a purpose, and that is to elevate those who actively want to go beyond their mechanical states of mind so that they can get a glimpse of their own higher being, unimpeded by distractions. Oh, good. Over the decades, millions of people have passed through these portals and have contributed to the sacredness which pervades in the grounds of the ashram. Their intention has made it easier for us all to walk in their tracks. Like any living organism, the ashram is created anew every day. Our thoughts, our emotions and aspirations, our prayers, our sadhana sustain the ashram and renew it so that it remains fresh and pertinent to our ideals. The ashram continues to be the transformative apparatus. Our aspirations, combined with the methodical practice of his teachings, elevates us to a higher level of reality and being, resulting in Atma Sakshatkara for all of us. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Thank you for your attention.